welcome to another edition of Talk Your Exposure. This is season 2, episode 10. Unfortunately, my co-host could not be here today due to work restrictions, but that's okay. Time's got to keep going, and we got to keep flying through. Today, we are here with former Division I athlete and former pro basketball player, Cori Coleman. How are you today?
I'm good. And I'm still a current player, just COVID, okay? COVID.
So, you know what? Let's restart. No, I'm joking. But my apologies. My apologies. You are a current pro basketball player, still gonna go play. We're gonna get all to that. To definitely ask you at the end of this where you want to go play at the end. But right now, I gotta ask you from the jump a little bit of some fun stuff before we get into your basketball career. Just
Okay.
curious. Could you sing? Can you sing?
Can I sing? Me. No. Maybe I can hit a high note once in a while in the shower, but other than that, cannot.
I feel you. I feel you. If you were ever could sing, you know what I'm saying? If God could come down here and well, he's up there, but if God could give you one gift, you know what I'm saying, and you got that gift and your gift was to sing, who would you want your voice to sound like?
Ooh, Janae Eiko. Or
Janae,
Aiko, however anyone pronounced it. I want to sound like
Janae
she sounds
Aiko?
like a goddess, like she sounds like an angel. Yes.
Okay. If I was a female, I'd probably want to sound like Beyonce, but that's just me.
Yeah, okay. I need the Cali vibes.
I feel you. And you just got back home from Florida recently, so we know you love that sun, aka your
Yeah,
background over there.
love it.
Do you think there are any similarities with music and sports?
Yes, there's a lot of similarities because it's all entertainment. The world goes round for music, the world goes round for sports. And,
Mhm.
it's a huge platform. Celebrities are both, athletes are celebrities and rappers and singers are celebrities. So, yeah, they go hand in hand. It's all entertainment. They both make the world go around. So, yeah.
For sure. I know that you're a big Disney fan. If you could meet any Disney character, who would it be and why?
Who would it be? It would be
Don't say Harry. Don't say Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Don't
Not.
say Harry. Don't say Harry Potter. Don't say Harry Potter.
I mean, if you watch Harry Potter, who didn't want to be Harry Potter? Like, it's crazy. Like, I want to go on a train. I want an owl to send me messages. Like, I want to do Quidditch. Quidditch, right? Yeah, the Quidditch thing.
Quidditch, it
I
was
want to do
Quidditch.
that. I want to
That,
go to
that
Hogwarts.
that looked like the coolest game ever. I'm not gonna lie to you. That game, I was telling my friends when I was
Right?
younger. I told them all. I said, "Listen, we're gonna play this game. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna sit on broomsticks and we're gonna pretend like we're flying." But no, that game was sick. That game was
Go.
definitely.
Go. Yeah. You
If
should go
you
to
could
Hogwarts for a year. That's it.
Hogwarts for a year.
A whole year. Whole
All
year.
right.
Learn one.
Well, well, in that instance, let me ask you this then: Who or what would you want to learn from Hogwarts if you were there for a whole year?
Honestly,
How to fly?
not how to fly. I want to be the one like Hermione. They've changed into people. The robe thing that makes you invisible.
Tough.
All the cool stuff. Pop up the bag, throw stuff in there. The hat. I want it all. I want
Fair
it
enough.
all.
Fair enough. A little bit of basketball, not a little bit of basketball. Who's your favorite basketball player?
Ooh, Westbrook, KD, James Harden, all three of them in one.
James Harden. You said
Yeah.
James Harden, Kyrie, and KD.
No, KD, and Westbrook. I'm an OKC fan.
Okay.
Unfortunately, OKC kind of did me wrong. I was an OKC fan when Ray Allen was with the Sonics. So then
Oh,
KD came in, and then Westbrook, James. Oh man, that team was supposed to do great. I blame GMs for that. It's always general management, like always.
damn Sam
Yeah.
Presti. Damn Sam.
But now
So
it's like I had Westbrook and James Harden, and now I have KD and James. So I get to watch a little bit of OKC here and there.
I mean,
Yeah.
the reality is that a lot of Brooklyn right now is OKC. You know, they had Andre Robertson, they had James Harden, they had KD, or they have KD and James Harden, I should say. But you know, they had a lot of OKC for a bit. So I mean, I guess you kind of got your little OKC fix during that time. So hopefully you were able to appreciate that during that time. Was there anything that James Harden and Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook taught you?
Of course. Westbrook told me to go hard no matter what. I don't care if I'm playing against my friends, peers. I don't care if it's a 5-year-old. You go 100% all the time. KD, a lot with his pace of the game. He lets the game come to him. He doesn't force anything. Some people think he's timid, but he's really just a natural scorer. He's very genuine on the court. I love that. James Harden, gotta have fun on the court. You just gotta have fun. You know, he plays rec ball in the NBA and he makes millions. Like, I love it.
Mm-hmm. I can't go wrong with that. Even when he was like 500 pounds, man was still getting buckets, still getting buckets. But
Exactly, you know.
when did you realize that you want to play basketball and make it a career?
I always made little jokes growing up, like I'm gonna play in the WNBA. I'm gonna play in the WNBA. And then going into high school, people were like, "You're really good. You can definitely get a Division I scholarship." You know, I'm from Queens, New York, so definitely like, you know, you don't see outside of New York. New Yorkers are New Yorkers. Like, you know, all right, I'll
Mm-hmm.
play ball at the park. I'm gonna be at all the hood tournaments. I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna get a nickname. You know, we're big on nicknames. But
Mm-hmm.
I started getting college interest, and I'm like, maybe I can really like make it a thing. I went to college, had a great college career, and then I got invited to a WNBA combine. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my moment. I've been saying this, and it's actually happening. So yeah, I would joke around and say it, but then it actually happened. I didn't think I was as good as I actually was. So yeah, it's
Nah,
been cool.
you tough, you tough. I can't lie. I watched some clips of you. You know what I mean? You know, you got a little game to you. You feel me? So you definitely got a little game to you.
Like,
Um, what's some advice that you give kids today that's aspiring to play at the next level?
don't lose your passion. Don't make it a job. Don't make it a popularity thing. You got to go on the court because you love to play the sport and because you love to win. Nobody wants to be a loser. It's not fun to lose. So all
Mm-hmm.
that hee-haw-ing is fun after you win. So
For sure.
yeah, that winning and competitiveness, your passion. I would say getting into the gym, but you know, the training culture is crazy. You know, you have to get on the court, you have to play against people to get better. So
Facts.
definitely, yeah, definitely something I emphasize for people. Like get on the court and play, you know? Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, especially right now, even with the kids that we're training right now. Like it's not the same. You got to go out there and play. You really got to play. And honestly, like if you can't play, like you can't get seen. And that's my honest opinion. Like all this training right now with lockdown, COVID, and everything like that, it's not right for the kids. To be honest, I hate the rules. To be real with
Yeah.
you, you know what I mean. But whatever, it's the time we're in right now, and hopefully soon that they'll be able to get out of it. I do want to transition a little bit to your high school career. Your first year in high school, you won the state championship. Did that fuel you? Did that fuel you to go a little harder, or was it one of those you're just like, I won my first year, so I'm gonna chill now?
No. So with I went to Murray Bertram in Manhattan and we were ranked number 1 in the country. So you don't want to be that team to ruin it. You know, they've won maybe 10 years in a row before I got there. So you don't want to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of the team that breaks that streak. You don't want to be a part of the team that, you know, oh, they're not so good anymore. So every year I was at that high school, it got harder and harder more the more my role has changed. And I think it shaped me out. You know, we had seasons, my first 3 seasons, we basically went undefeated. So the feeling of winning is a great feeling. I don't want to seem like so like egotistic. I'm a winner. I want to win, but winning feels good. So
Right.
anywhere I went, I'm like, I don't want to be a loser because then I see the other side of the bench, they're crying and we're laughing. I don't want to cry. I want to laugh. So yeah, definitely shaped to how I am now for my
And
first year.
I'm glad you touched up on the the next couple years of your career, because as a junior in high school, you were named first team All Manhattan and first team All State. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. It finally meant that I was being seen. You know, it's hard being on a team of all Americans. And, you know, I literally just came out of nowhere. No one recruited me to the school. I just know that school was great and I wanted to be great with them. So I waited my turn. You earn your stripes, practice hard, and everything started to transition on the court the way I wanted to go. And it just went up from there.
For sure, for sure. And honestly, that's one thing we can always tell kids these days. Like, just keep going hard, keep working, keep grinding. You never know what could happen. Because even for you, in your final season, you were the Manhattan Player of the Year, a part of the All City and First Team All State team, and named to the ESPN National All Star Team. Was it because of that first championship that fueled you to accomplish what you accomplished, or do you just want to make your names like stand out in New York?
No, so with Bertram, you're the girl who goes to Bertram who's on the bandwagon on winning. And, at the end of the day, you play for the jersey in the front, but then people remember you for your last name on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I always made it a point where it's like I'm gonna be winning, and then I want you to know who's the girl who's winning these games. So, it just fueled me. I got on the court. New Yorkers are a bunch of trash talkers, we're a bunch of big ego people. We like to bragging rights, like you can't beat me. So yeah, I wanted to be able to walk down the block and be like, yeah, you can't beat me.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, honestly, that's what's gotta be sometimes. Because I went to JUCO in Florida, right, and I went to Polk State. There's some guys that are from Florida, from New York. There, man, they tough. They tough. Like not like defensively, they're tough. They work their ass off. They do all the little things as a teammate and stuff. And it's one of those things when you kind of see them play. It's like, damn, is this how New York really be playing? You know what I mean? And to be able to see the ISO ball and all that stuff, like, it was dope to see. I don't know what year are you born, if you don't mind me asking. Off topic, what year are you born?
93.
You're 93. So do you know Jarrell Joy?
No, maybe by face. If he's a street ball person, he probably has a nickname.
No, he went to the same school as Ron Artest went to. He broke his record.
Ron Artest went to. He's
The
from
high
Queens.
school,
He's from
the high
Queensbridge.
school, that whatever the high school is. I forgot the name, but
Okay,
yeah.
I think maybe Cardinals or something. I don't know.
So I went to JUCO with him, and then afterwards he went to Clark Atlanta. But anyways, we had him on the show as well, and he was talking about just the mentality of New Yorkers and stuff like that. So I'm glad you kind of touched up on that as well. And it's good that now we have our second person from New York on the show.
Nice.
um, I want to transition out to your university career. You go to Cleveland State, where you had a very successful 4 years. But I want to know, did you have any of the schools recruiting you?
You know what? I had some schools recruited me, but Murray Bertram, the school we're at, we were number one in this country for women's basketball, but we were the worst academically. I couldn't tell you who my teachers were. I had a substitute every day. We didn't have enough funding for textbooks, so I'm not gonna lie, I failed math a lot, and a lot of schools had to back out. I had Loyola in Maryland, James Madison. I had Louisville looking at me for a year, Iona. And I was always the girl that people questioned, was just like, is she really worth it or not? And I ended up going to Cleveland State University, and I actually met her at my last leg. I was like, I'm just going to go to the senior showcase. What's the worst going to happen? I'm getting a runaround from these other clubs. After the tournament, her name Coach Kate Peterson Adibia, she called me and she's like, you're going to be a starting shooting guard all 4 years. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. They call me every day, and I'm like, this is where I'm gonna go.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Were you there the same time Norris Cole was there, or a different time?
Yeah and no. So when I met Norris, I actually met him in a gym because he's a workhorse just like I am. Like I literally ran into him. Literally. He graduated the year I came in, but the NBA lockout. So he was there for a couple months when I was there. So we did connect. We worked out. He's a cool guy. And yeah, I didn't see him in action in college. Maybe on
Nah.
TV, but not in action in real life.
Okay. Curious to know though, which teammate motivated and pushed you the most during practice?
Which teammate and motivate? All the seniors. So we had 5 seniors in a red shirt, and they would be on us freshmen because it was the way our coach recruits in fours.
Mm-hmm.
So the classes can stay together, you build the chemistry. And I started to stand out a little bit. So, I had all the seniors on me like, Cori, you can't do this. Cori, you can't do that. I have teammates. Well, three of the 5 seniors, I was really like, in touch with. Destiny Blue, she RIP. She's from Milwaukee. Shay Winton, she plays overseas. I see her when I'm overseas too. We link up. She's from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And Akima Keen, she's from Canada. The Canadians
Okay.
are.
Okay.
So those three definitely pushed me the hardest. And whether they wanted to beat me up in the locker room because I forgot to defend the slip, or they yelled at me to shoot the ball more. So yeah, they definitely motivated me a lot.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. There's something about us Canadians, man. We come down there and we bang people around. We have that hockey mentality to us. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah. She would mess us up, like, get up. I'm like, okay, I'm getting up.
Hey man, you from New York. You from New York, so I know y'all know you probably fought back. There's a little more to that
Oh
probably.
yeah, I was so feisty. They were like, "You're a freshman." I was like, "So what?" It's all
Hey,
love. We're all super close, you know. Again, RIP to this D Blue. But yeah, we're all still really close to this day, and a lot of them they pushed me to help me be the basketball player that I am today, and help my college career like explode too.
very
So
important. Very, very, very important. Your freshman season, you started the remaining 23 games, and you became the fifth freshman to score over 200 points. Your sophomore season was even better with even better, where you averaged 13 points per game, seventh in your league in steals, and and your first two seasons you were just completely balling. How did your teammates react to your performance?
Um, at first, you know, we had 5 seniors from all 5 positions, and I averaged 0 minutes before I was starting. So it's not like I got any, you know, any razzle dazzle on the court. I went from 0 minutes, and I told the coach like, "Hey, I thought you said I was starting all 4 years. Like, what happened?" She's like, "You'll never get on the court if you don't play defense, and you have to fit in my offense. I want you to have practice." And when I'm like, my mentality got into me because I'm like, I don't want to sit down.
Right.
And at first, you know, I can't even lie, like us New Yorkers, we're so headstrong sometimes. We come off the wrong way, we come off rude, we come off a bit rough around the edges, but you know, we just really are so strong minded, and we just really want to accomplish things. So it was hard at
Mm-hmm.
first. And you know, our lingo, I was calling everybody son, and they're looking at me like son. And I was like, oh my bad, it's a New York lingo, my bad. They're like, what do you mean, my bad?
We
I'm
do
like,
that. We do
sorry.
this. We do the same thing down here too. We be going around to our homies and everything. Be like, hey, yo, what up, son? Try to put our hand on their head and whatnot. And they're like, don't call me son. I'm like,
Yeah,
come here, son. Come here. Shut up.
exactly. But then also like after you know my first few games starting, everyone started to realize like I'm not here to be any big shot. I'm just want to play ball. Like I love playing ball. And once everyone realized that, they're like, all right, cool. And I'm not really the most vocal leader. I'm more of a, you know, I can't tell you to make a layup if I'm not making layups. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But your junior season, though, I want to talk to you about your junior season for a second because you accomplished. Your name was in the record books forever at this point. You became the 24th player to get 1,000 points. You tied the school record for threes in the season, finished fifth in Cleveland State University career in 3-point list, and you were named the Horizon Player of the Week a couple of times. When you had the 1,000-point career, what was that like for you? And also, was your family there to be able to watch that with you as well?
We played away at Green Bay in Wisconsin. I forgot my jersey, and I had to play in another jersey for my 1,000 point. And I didn't know I had my 1,000 point until everyone started cheering when I made a layup. Like I made like some and one layup. It was a wide open layup, and I'm looking like you're 1,000 point. And I had a T-shirt, a 5th grade T-shirt, and she told me, she's like, Cori, you can get your 1,000 point ball. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, that means you're really good, and you put your mind up
Mm-hmm.
to anything that you can do. And I thought about it. I'm like, so at the end of the game, that ball was going to be mine. I know it's materialistic, but from having a 5th grade teacher tell me like I got my 1,000 point, you can do it too, and it actually happened because
Mm-hmm.
it's not something I saw in high school. I didn't get 1,000 points in high school. It was a huge accomplishment, and doing it at a Division 1 level, like definitely a blessing. And I look back at it, I look at that ball every day. So to start the day, like, you know, manifest greatness every day. Like it's amazing.
I
Yeah.
feel that. I feel that. Honestly, not many people can say that they hit the 1,000-point club. I don't care what division, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO. Not many people can really say they hit the 1,000-point club. So for you to be able to be part of that club, hey, that's a big accomplishment in itself. But your senior season, you finished off as the 6th highest scorer in school history. You broke the record for the most threes in a year, but most importantly, went to the school's first ever invitational tournament. What was that moment like for you?
It was a great moment. Like I love my team. We did really good. We had a couple of red shirts with injuries. We're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? We only lost maybe 1 or 2 home games, maybe one home game. We had a great season. I had a great supporting cast. My seniors with me, they got the ball to me. I got the ball to them. We were playing some good
Mm-hmm.
basketball, and it all transitioned on the court. I had my other 2 seniors join me in a 1,000 point club. The first time in school program history where all seniors are 1,000 point scorers now. So I was able to do that
Jeez.
with my sisters. I was happy for them and happy for me. Then going to NIT, we didn't know what was going on. We were planning for St. Patrick's Day around this time. We were about to have a
Right.
party. Got the call, you're going to the NIT, and we're off to Michigan. It was great. It was great.
Who was your first game against in the NIT tournament?
So we played against Michigan, and my seniors both got the flu.
Oh
I was like, I
no.
want to sick now.
So literally a couple
Oh God.
a couple weeks before that, y'all are just celebrating 1,000 point club, and a couple weeks later, y'all trying to recover from the flu.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe you guys. What are you guys eating? What are you guys doing? I hang out. How do y'all have the flu? And of course, they got it with each other because we're always around each other. They
Yeah.
must not have a lot of garlic in their food. I eat a lot of garlic in mine, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things too. Where you gotta look back at it. I mean, I'm sure at the moment it was probably one of those like, oh man, like we're really about to play a game right now, and you got the flu. But I'm sure a couple years down the line, you're like, hey, remember that time that you could have played because of you had the flu and we.
oh, they played. I was like, I was in their head, like, you know what, y'all gotta play. This is gonna be your Jordan game. Okay. We're about to be Michigan. And it was a close game the whole time, but they ran out of energy, they ran out of gas. One had to check out. She was too sick. I was like, damn, sorry I pushed you do that. But at the end, it's not, it wasn't much, but we were more so sad that this was the last time we were going to be in the court with each other. But
Right.
we're also happy that that Final Four game in the Horizon League wasn't our last game, and we actually got a chance to have a postseason because in all our years we've never had a postseason, and we led our team to a postseason. So it was a lot
That's
of
what's up.
happy tears in the locker room. A lot of happy tears.
That's what's up. That's what's up. One of those pre-COVID hugs.
Yeah, COVID. COVID. They don't show the
Pre-COVID
food,
hug.
now you're not leaving that room.
Man, this I feel for people that right now, the girls and the men right now that are playing the NCAA tournament. Man, congratulations to all those teams, but I feel for them because they don't get that same experience that you were able to get, right? You know what I mean? Like be able to travel to different places, be able to travel to where you had to travel to. Like now you're located in one little bubble. Like it's not the same experience right now, and I hope that every single senior comes back for another year next year. Like it's
I
just
hope so. Yeah, it's tough because that's what makes March Madness. Like,
right.
you win the game and then you're on a bus the next day or a plane the next day. You win that game, you're somewhere else, you're hopping,
Yep.
you barely get any sleep because you got prepared for the next game. March Madness
Facts.
is what college students live for, and they're really tough right now. They're really sticking it out. I'm gonna watch these games, and I'm glad they're sticking it out, and they're gonna play through, and they're gonna play hard. So definitely a great thing.
My team's not in it, so I'm not gonna watch it at all. To be honest with you, so whatever. I'm not even watching.
Watching games on both sides. The men's made it to the men's our men's team made it to the tournament in the first time in a while.
You know what though? You know what? I've realized that a lot of teams that haven't really done well in the past few years, the COVID has been blessing them. Like Bonaventure won, Drake won. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
I
not
think
gonna lie,
I
that is very true. Even overseas, like there's a couple Euro Cup teams that never won a game in Euro Cup but they advance because someone on the other team, their star player, the other team has COVID protocols and gets eliminated.
there
So
you go.
even for my team in Germany, like our team was gonna get dropped down to the second league. We had a bad season, but COVID saved us. So for the little people, it's like great. For the bigger people,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, COVID.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure, and even like we had Dwayne Notice on the show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dwayne Notice, but he went to South Carolina, and he was telling us a story about how like he would go here, go there, go here, go there. When they made to the Final Four, they beat Duke. He literally said he had posters of his face all over the place, like literally downtown South Carolina, like all over the place. Like he's like, this is the craziest moment that he's ever been a part of. So to not be able to have that same moment for the guys right now, like it's not, excuse me, but it must be very. Wow, it must be very tough for all those NCAA guys and girls to be able to go through that right now. You know what I mean? So shout out to them for being strong and be able to, pull through and do what they need to do to be able to get their
You know,
team to where they got
a
to
lot
get
of
to.
mental toughness there.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I got to ask you though, are you happy with how your university career finished?
I'm happy. I feel like my freshman year team, we were some dogs, but
Mm-hmm.
we were like the Knicks. Like we couldn't get it together. Like we lost some games where I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I had some ballers on my team, from all over the place, Milwaukee, Canada, and we just could not get it together. And we lost games, and that's the team where it's just like, man. And the game against Minnesota, we played top ranked Minnesota. They're the top 25. A lot of those girls are in the WNBA now. I had the racial girl who was averaging 50 the next year. We're up 20 points and we lose to them at the end of the game.
Damn.
I'll never forget that game.
Damn.
At their house too. We went up 20 points.
I was about to say, I'm like, let's not talk about that one because clearly that's one of those a bad moment for you. So you just got back home from Florida. You were able to
the top 25. Almost beat a top 25 team, and we blew it. But it was definitely a learning. We're never gonna go through that again, and we didn't lose a home game after that. So
there you go. Hey, screw it. Who do y'all lose to, man? Who do y'all lose to? I know you said you didn't want to talk about it, but who do y'all lose to, man?
The game at home.
The game at home, the top 25 team. Who was that?
Oh no, we lost to the Minnesota team. That was the top.
Minnesota.
25.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And then we played against Green Bay when they're like top ranked too, but we didn't really stand a chance. We did a couple times and a lot of questionable calls up there in Green Bay, but
it is what it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't win them all. Can't win them all. After university, you signed a contract to Finland, if I'm correct.
Yes.
What was your excitement level like, or was it one of those that you just wanted to kind of get there first before you got excited?
I can't even like when it was happening. I like the way it happened is like I graduated college, walked across the stage. 2 hours later, I'm chilling with my family. I'm getting calls from like a couple teams, and I was like, me? Like what? Like then Finland, they were like, yeah, we're coming, and then they sent me the contract, and I was looking at it like, yo, I'm about to go to Finland. Like who goes to Finland? It was definitely. I never thought for one moment that anything would go wrong. I spoke with the coaches. They're great people. There's actually a Cleveland State alum there playing right now, and I put all my trust in them going to Finland. I've never been to Europe before, and I was going by myself. I was going to a nomadic country that's freezing, and yeah, that was the start of it all.
When you got that contract, was there ever a moment that you kind of looked at that contract and said, "Is this a fake contract?" Or was it one of those like, "Nah, I'm see my legs, but I'm fucking nice."
No, it was more of a humbling thing because I lost my grandmother my senior year.
Sorry
I was going through a breakup. Thank you. I was going through a breakup. Tough times at home. I was just like, I gotta focus. I gotta get it. And then everything I've always wanted, I sacrificed the time. I sacrificed missed birthdays, Mother's Days, Thanksgiving. And now I have a contract in front of me, something that I always wanted in front of me. And I was just like, this is why I do what I do. So like, and you got to think that the man above too. I've always been injury free, knock on wood. Thank you, Jesus. But it was definitely a humbling experience. And I was just like, yeah, I just got to go harder. Yeah.
I feel that, to be honest with you, first of all, RIP to your grandma, you know what I mean? And to be able to hear that even now that you just said that, you were going through a tough time during your senior year and still accomplished what you accomplished, some of that has to be a tribute to your grandmother, you know what I mean? Like she definitely has to be looking down on you and giving that blessing to you and looking over you, making sure that you're taken care of. So, shout out grandma, and, like I said, again, RIP.
Shout out to my Nana.
Shout out. What was it like leaving your family, to go to Finland and be in a different country now? Obviously before, when you're at Cleveland State, you're not too far away. You're probably about 5-6 hours away, if that even. Now you're 10, 12, 14 hours away, a whole nother plane ride. So what was that like, leaving your family?
Well, in New York, I will say they make us grow up fast with mass transportation and stuff. So you kind of like leave the nest a little early,
Okay.
And my high school was 2.5 hours away from me. I had to make that journey. I don't know if you ever heard about the New York City subway. It's a dangerous place. dangerous place. I was on the train stations at 14 years old, and I was traveling like 2.5 hours to be a champion. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to college. It's around a 7 hour drive, but they worked. They wasn't able to come as much or come to games and stuff. So
Right.
I think I think going away to college, I even tell kids to say like going away to college will prepare you for real life. You won't the umbilical cord would be cut once you go away to college. You learn stuff on your own. Oodles and noodles if you have to. If you need a college job, you learn it on your own. If you go away to school, you can't just go home. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. So going over the year, the transition was the same. I'm like I'm away. You know, that's about it. That's exactly. I had a roommate just like in college. We played basketball. It wasn't anything new except like I was getting paid and I didn't have school.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What was it like? You watched Love and Basketball, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah.
So in the film, in the last little part where Sanaa Lathan's going to, that she's sitting in the locker room and she's tying up her ankle, and she has all the tape around her and everything, and the coach is talking, and she goes to one of her import friends afterward and says, "Hey, what did they say?" And she said, "Give you the ball." Was there? Did you have any similar moment, where your coach is kind of talking in I guess Finland language? I don't even know what that language would be. But did you have any moment like that, or was it one of those that you kind of understood what they were saying?
Uh, no, everything was fine. In Finland, everyone spoke English. Some girls were shy to speak English. Our head coach, he's older, so his English was very. He referred a lot of his English to movies, like Eye of the Tiger, Rocky Balboa. Everything he said was like almost a phrase out of that movie. So as he pieced it together, he's like, "We're gonna play like lions, tigers, and bears," and just like, all right. But other than that, we had a assistant coach spoke perfect English. The year after was tough. I played 6 seasons, so like not every season was like that. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I had to talk to a teammate about what did he say. I had a translator who stopped getting paid, and I'm just like, I'm on the court, like I don't know what's going on. But Finland was as a rookie and what athletes go through. I think I had the best possible first year overseas. Very positive. We were really good. I met really great players. Played with WNBA player and another draft pick. So it was cool. We're all from all places of the world. It was great. It was cool.
Who was that WNBA player that you played with?
Crystal. What is Crystal's last name? Crystal Bradford. She went to Central Michigan. She got
Okay.
drafted to the Sparks in the top 10.
Oh wow.
It was interesting playing with her.
I was about to ask you about that. You want to touch up on that?
No,
Fair enough. Fair
it was
enough.
interesting. It was interesting. She's
Okay.
in Turkey now. She's in Turkey now getting buckets. She's getting buckets.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. We're gonna move on. After Finland, you go to Morocco and Germany. On the court, you're hooping, top three in scoring, and you're named to I don't even know how to pronounce this properly, so excuse me, but Luxembourg League,
Yeah.
the Luxembourg League second team. What
Yeah.
made that transition so easy for you?
So after my first year in Finland, it was hard for me to get a job back overseas. So I did spend the first half at home. And I feel like, I was in my bag about it. I'm just like, why am I back home? I mean, I feel like I had a good first year. I did what I had to do. I'm very friendly. I didn't have any issues. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I did get a new agent. I went to Morocco, and
Mm-hmm.
Morocco's the trenches. Like, again, like the English wasn't the best. Facilities. It's a third world country. I wouldn't even say it's like a second world country now. A lot of people don't know
Right.
that. It's developing into a second world country. And I went into Westbrook mode. I'm like, there's not one game I'm gonna have that's bad. There's not gonna be anything that anyone can say that I did wrong. I'm gonna play my hardest. I'm gonna do anything that I can do. And I turned the dog meter on to like 1,000, and then I went to Luxembourg, and I still had the dog meter on me. Like, this is where I belong. So
Yeah.
yeah, the transition from Morocco to Luxembourg, it was like I'm a dog. So
And I,
definitely,
and
yeah.
Ashley was kind of telling me that you had a very interesting experience in Morocco. Obviously, I haven't heard about it, but definitely, if you don't mind, do you mind touching up on that experience that you had in Morocco?
Morocco isn't typically Morocco or Arab countries. They're not typically like the European countries. You're really just there to you get paid to play. That's really what it is. You're expected to do above and beyond, and if you lose a game, it's all your fault. If you win a game, it's all your fault.
Damn.
And I had a good team. The president and his wife and the family took me in like family. You know, you don't really hear those kind of things with overseas. They don't really. It's a job, so you don't really get that. So I got a lot of love from the family. Living wasn't the best, but when you're a young 23-year-old and you're trying to get it, you have to grind it out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Then I found a cat, so I had a cat anyway, so it was cool.
Wait, hold on,
And
hold on. You found a cat? Like you just picked it up from the road and said, "This is mine."
no, actually, as I was coming from the airport, I had my suitcases. I'm rolling it, and I hear "Meow" on my suitcase. I'm shaking it, and it's a kitten like this big. I was like, oh. So I thought it left my room when I opened the door, and it slept underneath. It was underneath the bed. I woke up. The cat was on my neck. I was like, oh my gosh. It looked at me like meow. I was like, you're mine now. This is how it happened. That was my first day in Morocco.
That was your first day in Morocco?
First day in Morocco. But
Welcome to
also,
Morocco.
thanks. Also, like I never talked about this, but I got suspended from the league from an altercation that I had with another teammate that turned into a huge, huge thing. As you know, it's a playoff game, best of 5 series, and she kicked me. Like we're shaking hands, we win the game, and she kicked me. She's like, "What are you gonna do about it?" I'm just like, "Oh my god, I'm from New York. You know, you can't do that to a New Yorker." And I kicked her back, and it just turned into something that I've never been in a physical altercation on the court ever. It just turned into the stupidest thing. Next thing you know, I'm being suspended from the league, but they overturned it, and we went from a last place seed to the championship, and that was my first taste of like a championship, AfroBasket Cup. I was like, this is real. Like overseas basketball play is real, and I was like, I love it. I love
And
it.
and it's crazy though because like when you get when someone talks to you whatever, you don't seem like you're aggressive person. You don't really seem like that type of person to you at all. But I guess when somebody antagonizes you and somebody really gets at you, it's like, hey, that New York side's about to come out of me. You don't want to fuck with me at that point.
Like I did not leave Queens, New York, Jamaica, Queens, New York to come to Morocco to play professional basketball. I don't even fight from where I'm from, and I'm not about to be fighting with you girls here. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
I gotta ask you that now that I know you're from Jamaica, Jamaica, New York, Queens, New York. What this is really off topic again, but what was the food difference? You know, obviously you're going to eat Moroccan food now compared to Jamaican food and whatever you're eating back home as well. What was it like for you? How hard is it like for you to transition to that?
It was the best food of my life. I think
Really?
and all my years overseas, I tell people about Moroccan food because in New York we're so diverse. We have Arabic food, we have Jamaican food, Haitian food, a
Yeah.
bunch of Caribbean food. Spanish food is all I eat. But when I tell you that Moroccan food hit different, I try to look for that couscous on Fridays. It's a religious thing, they eat couscous on Fridays.
Yeah.
And even if I go to a Moroccan place, it's not like Morocco. Like I've never been to a place where the food is not the same. You
Yep.
know,
You
the spices, everything was great.
I'm about to
Even
say.
Ramadan was cool.
So you got that shawarma, that falafel, that hummus, the tahina, all that stuff.
Yeah, the tagine, they love the chicken out there, of course. The roasted chickens out there are fires. It's just as good as
Yep.
the Dominicans.
Yep.
Everything's flavorful. The couscous on Fridays with the squash and the chicken. It was so good. It was so
Hey,
good.
so I'm Jewish, right? So we have a lot of that food, the cultural food at our house as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why, like, when you say, you like that food, some of the best food, I'm like, okay, it's ironic to me because for me, some of the best food I ever had was like jerk chicken, oxtail, you know what I mean, rice and peas, stuff like that. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm in heaven with that stuff. But so when you're saying like couscous and I'm thinking about shawarma or Oreo, I'm thinking about stuff like that. I'm like, damn, we reversing right now. We switching.
No, when I tell you though, like I've had other Arabic foods, and I was in Egypt. Like nothing's like Moroccan food, and I'm like again, like I smell jerk chicken right now at this corner store. Like you get so used to jerk chicken, curry chicken, and all that stuff. It's like I want something different, and that was different. I
Not
ate so much out there.
Not me, not me. My fiance is Jamaican, so when they be cooking, jerk chicken or oxtail and stuff like that, I'm like
Yeah, that oxtail. Now, if you can make a good oxtail,
that oxtail
oxtail
hits different.
fire. I tell people about oxtails overseas. They're like, "What is oxtail?" I'm like, I'll take the best thing you'll ever have.
Funny enough, 10 years ago when I was in Florida, I didn't have any like Caribbean food, right? So one of my teammates is from Jamaica, Queens. He's actually Jamaican. So his
Yeah.
mom and dad came down. The first time I ever tried oxtail and jerk chicken, all that stuff was at school. I'm like, what is this? This is amazing. And I was like, yeah, that's that. It changed my life forever. But I'm glad, I'm able to taste it, regularly now. So I'm a fan of the Caribbean culture. I wanted to touch up on your career in Egypt. Obviously, you touched up on that a little bit as well. What was that like for you? Because again, me being Jewish, our holy land, our everything like that is Israel. So Israel's not too far away from Egypt. So you know what I mean. So 2 hour flight. So what was it like for you to play in Egypt and somewhere that's so very historical in the world?
When my agent first, well, my ex-agent, because he's not my agent anymore, when he first presented me the job to go to Egypt, I'm like, who plays basketball in Egypt? But again, like everyone goes to play in Israel, and I'm like, wait, that means I can see the pyramids? Like, people dream about seeing the pyramids, but I was like, I had between Egypt or going to the UK, and I was like, pyramids, UK, pyramid, UK. I was like, I wasn't even thinking about basketball. I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who was already out there, and she's still out there now. She's on a good club. So I was like, yeah, my homegirl's out there. And then I had 2 other friends that were signing out there. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. Like, we're going to be around each other. But I got there a lot sooner. And when I got there, things didn't go as planned. Apartment wasn't up to par. It still really worked. I didn't have any hot water. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I had a huge German cockroach problem, big ones.
Damn.
Sand. I mean, I get it. It's Egypt and stuff. The way that was, especially not having Wi-Fi, being the only American in that town, not hanging out with anyone because nobody was there. It was pretty hard. And then I was like, okay, as long as I have basketball, and I didn't have basketball because they didn't get my papers ready. So they were paying me to finish last season and to start next season. And they didn't have my papers ready and they got eliminated. So now they're on break for a month and a half. They all just disappear. They all go on vacation and they just leave me out there. I did say my concerns to the Egyptian agent, my agent, and to the club. They did try to make things better, but a month goes by, a couple more weeks go by. My Wi-Fi, they were really trying. They were reimbursing me for the data I was paying for. They were supposed to give me meals. They started reimbursing me for the meals, but then it was always another problem. Now I don't have hot water. Now I'm late on my salary, but you gave me money for Wi-Fi. And this is my first 2 salaries. It's the first time I'm here, and these are all the issues are starting to pile up, and pile up. And now it became more of a mental thing for me because it's like the season's over. Egypt isn't really a place that you just want to travel as a female by yourself everywhere. I had a tour guide to take me places. It was nice, but I couldn't go touring every single day,
Yeah.
And of course by myself. So it came to a point where, the only time I left my room was to go to get food, and then I'm getting food by myself and I'm watching everybody, talk to each other. And I'm looking around trying to talk to people like, hey, but it just wasn't working out that way. And it got to a point I just didn't want to get out of bed. So I messaged my agent. I'm just like, I don't even care about basketball. I just want to go home. Like, this is not mentally for me. And things did not go, things went sour right there with my agent. I was told to figure it out on my own effort. But then again, even for any player who's watching right now, you have a FIBA contract and you have a you have a FIBA agent player contract, and then you have a contract with a club. And if it's breached by anybody, you're owed things. Don't ever make anyone think that you're not owed your flight home when you have a round trip signed contract, or if you have a problem with a club, your agent's supposed to deal with it. So, yeah, I'm back home now. I have a new agent. And, I'm still working out. I'm working out. I'm working on a couple projects, to help other athletes transition to being a pro, and for those going to college and, training kids. And I guess Egypt opened my eyes to a lot of things. At the end of the day, us athletes need to stick together. So that was Egypt in a nutshell.
Hey, first of all, shout out to you for even starting something to try to help people. Whether it's kids, whether it's pros, whether it's Division I athletes or university athletes or college athletes. Shout out to you for trying to start something because that's not every day that people want to take on that responsibility, take on that share their stories, even I should say. But for you to be able to kind of be open about it and say, hey, listen, this is what I went through, and come with me, let me help you, let me guide you, let me do the right things for you. Man, shout out to you, Cori, man. I big up on you, man. Big
Thank
up
you.
yourself.
Thank you. And it's crazy because once I shared my story, a lot of other people, a lot of other players who have the same agent, I'm not going to say that who the agent is. I don't want
That's
any issue.
cool. That's cool. That's cool.
They all had the same problems, and if we would have all worked together, this would have not been a thing. It would not. We just need to stick together. We need to share our stories. We need to stop acting like everything's a secret.
Yeah.
So definitely, like Jory Davis. She's in Greece right now. She has some issues, and she helped me through a lot. So I mean, we need to stick together. And I realized that unfortunately, Jory Davis, if you hit her up and you ask her, she tried to reach out to me a while ago, but I was so focused on being a basketball player, I had tunnel vision on my goal. But it took an unfortunate situation to happen to me. It's like, imagine if a rookie who's 21 years old in the first year out of college goes to a place like this, like they wouldn't know what to do
Right.
at all. I'm a 6-year
Right.
pro, and not everyone can do certain things like that. So like you have to stick together because anything can happen. I just had a friend commit suicide not too long ago. Like we
Oh
have to stick
shit.
together. You know what I mean? So like
Mm.
these things are real. These things are really real.
I feel you, and honestly, with COVID right now and everything like that too, like it's nothing's easy right now. Like nothing's easy at all. And the one thing that kind of helped all of us kind of do our thing was basketball or sports or anything like that. So to be able to kind of go through that in itself right now, and I couldn't even imagine that, and that's kind of one reason why for me is personally that I never really cared to play basketball past university. I'm like, let me get my university, let me get my degrees. After that, I'm done. Like I don't want to do anything with that anymore because I see the politics, even now with me being a coach, I see way too many politics now. I'm hearing too many stories. You don't get paid for weeks. You don't get paid for months. You don't get paid for this day. You don't get paid for that day. So honestly, for me, it was like, yeah, I'm not even going to try to do all that. Like if I'm not going to go to the NBA.
A curse though. Like it's really a blessing and a curse. Like no matter anything you do in life, whether you have an office job or anything, you're gonna have times where it's like, dang, like everything is going bad. They're gonna have times where everything's going good. Imagine a real estate agent. They have a great year of sales, and then they have a whole pandemic happen, and they can't sell a house to save their lives. Like everything is always a blessing and a curse, and that's the way I see it. So I don't want to scare people away from being an athlete with my story in Egypt because that was my clearly I was doing so. I loved it out there for me to be out there for so long.
For
So
sure,
I just
for
want to
sure.
put that out there.
For sure. I got a couple more questions for you before we get to our quick hitters. But first, what I want to ask you is, obviously you were there for longer than you might have hoped for, or whatever case was before your season restarted. Was there anything that you were able to kind of see historically, or experiment food wise or whatever that you enjoyed and appreciated?
Yeah. So I saw the pyramids. I passed the pyramids a lot going to the gym. We weren't too far from there. I went to the whale museum, and I forgot the town, but it was like a fossil. Like Egypt used to be an ocean once upon a time, so they
Yep.
had like fossilized whales and stuff. And I went to the Magic Lake where there's like a body of water in the middle of the desert. It's beautiful. I went to the Konkalili, one of the oldest markets. It was
Okay.
tough. It was tough. They were trying to make that money. They were hustling. New Yorkers hustle, but they hustle. They're good. They had me buying stuff I didn't even think I needed, like a fan. Like yeah, it was nice. I tried the food. I had some shawarma. I think
Okay.
that's what it's called.
It's called shawarma. Yeah, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you some Mediterranean lingo after it. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce the to you after.
I can't. Americans can't really say the.
There you go. There you go. That wasn't too bad.
Practicing. I tried the food. But it was good. I didn't try pigeon. They eat pigeon out there. I couldn't eat a pigeon. I couldn't do it. New York pigeons are vicious. Yeah, I cannot eat a pigeon. But yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. One last question I want to ask you, like I said before we get to our quick hitters, but I want to ask you, out of all the coaches that you've had, whether it was in Morocco, Egypt, whether it was even in the WNBA combine, whether it's university, high school, whatever it was, all the schools or all the places you've had coaches, what did all of them teach you, or was it all very similar to what you already knew? No, no.
No. So sometimes I'm somebody who likes to, I don't know how to say it. Like I had a lot of coaches in the past tell me to stop playing second fiddle and stop being Robin and try to be a Batman because I really just like to play basketball. I don't try to outshine anybody. I just whatever I have to do to win, I'll do it. But sometimes my coach is like, "Can you just add a little bit extra?" So that definitely helped transition me into the better basketball player that I am today. I can't turn it on and off. It needs to be on at all times.
Right.
Every possession matters, and then also I put big emphasis in the defense. I had every coach every year, even now, like I'm a great defender. I get a lot of steals. I'm pretty good at that. But they're like, you can be a dog. You can really be a dog. Do that extra possession with help side.
Yep.
Guards with help side defense.
Yep.
So on ball defense
Help
is
side.
great. Yeah, right. Help side. But let's talk about the girl that got beat, right? But
Right. And that's a whole nother story for another day. We force you left, but you try to force middle. But I gotta stand there for help side. You want to yell at me. But anyways.
But that's also what I learned too, because I'll be in film like, what about she got beat? Coaches always tell me, don't worry about the next person. If I tell you your job is to do help side, that's your job. So if
Yep.
you can do your job at 120%, I'll yell at the other girls later. But right now, you're not in help side. So I did learn
Yep.
about accountability and leadership
Right.
of not being help side for me. I might get beat once in a while. So I need to worry about what I can do for my team. And I think every year, it got better. You get older, you become a vet. So I'm still learning, I'm still learning. And, all these coaches, I learn something different every year. So yeah.
For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. So we're gonna get to our quick hitters of to finish off the segment, finish off the show. First one I want to ask you is if you had a dinner party and 5 empty seats, dead or alive, you can invite anybody you wanted to that dinner party. Who would it be?
Oh, dead or alive? Dead or alive. MJ.
Okay.
Both MJs. Both MJs.
Oh, okay. You're bringing one from the. Well, hold on. Which one? Because didn't it? No. Michael Jackson. Sorry. No. 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 Because the guy that played Wakanda passed away, and for some reason I always think he's Michael B. Jackson. I don't, or Michael B. Jordan. Sorry. I always think he's Michael B. Jordan. So when I said which, anyways, you know what? This is your time.
You know which Michael Jordan we acknowledge, okay? I love Michael B. You know which MJ I'm talking about.
All right. All right. All right. Cool.
Madam CJ Walker.
Okay.
I know that's a weird one, but like she's a businesswoman from like, come on now, and
She
come on,
tough.
come
She
on
tough.
now, she did
She
that.
tough. She's hey,
Um,
she's educated. She's educated. That's a great one to have. That's a
exactly.
great one.
No, I love Madam CJ Walker. You don't understand. Michelle Obama and Obama.
Oh,
That's fine, right?
listen. That's fine. That's fine. But listen, if you're about to have that party, if for somehow you get Michael Jackson from the ground, I am there.
Get the little high note, little moonwalk. I just want to meet. I just want to meet Michael Jackson.
So
Both
the
of them.
next question I want to ask, you is, if you could ask each of them only one question for the night, what would it be? Each of them have different questions, but you can only ask each one of them. So you have 5 questions altogether. Each one get one question. What are you asking them?
Each get one question. Why? Just why? Like this is a book called Everything Starts with a Why. Like why? Like why did
Okay.
you want this? Like why?
So you would just walk you would just walk with Michael Jordan? Why?
No, I would ask him like, tell me your why. And if I
Oh.
know Michael Jordan to know Michael Jordan, he would know how to answer that question. Everyone at that table would know how to answer that question.
Oh no,
Like, tell me.
I believe you. You're
Yeah,
100% right about that. Every single person at that question. I mean, if you ask Barack Obama, why would you want to run for president? I'm sure we all know the answer to that. So,
yeah.
and Michelle Obama, if her why, I mean, she was there. I want to say by default she earned it, but she definitely changed the game in a lot of ways. And to be honest with you, if she ran for president last year, I think she would have definitely won as well. So, Biden did his thing, but F Donald Trump. F Donald Trump. That's
Yeah.
and I'm not even American. Anyways, I'm not going to tell you my story from that one. But anyways, second last question I want to ask you for quick hitters is, if you were to be able to conduct your own movie about your life, who would you want to star your movie, or who would you want to star as you?
As me, as me,
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union.
I can see
No,
I can see Gabrielle Union being you.
I think her personality is so much stronger in movies. Maybe Gabby. Gabby's
But
in
but
there.
but the reason why I say Gabby is because she with D Wade, you know what I mean? So like she has that baller to her, you know what I mean? She also was in Bring It On, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I'm choosing.
But
You know who I want? I want Yvette. I want Yvette. What's her?
Yvette,
Taraji P Henson. I want her. I want her. I want my sis. I want my sis.
I'm a snap to that. You see how I
She comes from
snapped to
the struggle, man.
that?
I know she's more, aggressive, but she comes from the struggle, yo. Like I need someone like that. Like, yeah.
I'm
Taraji.
I'm I'm I apologize. I just said Gabrielle Union. Even though I meant to say I said Dwayne Wade and everything. I'm really meant to say Sanaa Lathan.
I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be like the typical love in basketball, have her run me. So I was like, let's do somebody else. I want Yvette from Baby Boy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Last question I want to ask you is, who's somebody that you like to see on Talk Your Exposure? But here's the kicker, though. You got to help us get them on the show.
Jory Davis. Jory Davis. I talked about her earlier. She's starting her own little thing, her own business. She's really somebody who's overseas, who's always been in the limelight, but never forgot where she came from, very humble. She's a great basketball player. I think she's a very great and genuine person. She's definitely someone I would reach out to if I had any issues as a basketball player, as a pro. I do look up to her, and yeah, I mean, get her on the show. I will help. I will reach out to her. Like, she is an angel, like a basketball angel, like
We
for
love
real.
we love to hear. We love to hear. Hey, Corey, where can we find you on social media?
C Lovely _15. It's pronounced Clovely, but it's really the C Lovely. So _15.
Fair
Yes.
enough. What real quick. Why 15?
So I always wanted to wear number 5, but I was never the best player in the team, so they gave me 15. And I'm like, I guess it's meant for me. And then I had a high school teammate and one of my best friends from childhood, they passed away. They both wore 15. So,
Oh,
I have this 15 list for 15 kind of thing. So I even write in my contract, I have to wear the number 15 because this is where they need to be at. This is where they wanted to be. And I'm just going to wear that jersey for them. So
fair enough.
15.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's where you and I have in common. I was number 15 as well. So shout out
Really?
number
That's cool.
shout
Shout
out
out to
number
the
15. I wore 15 because of Vince Carter. He changed the whole game for Toronto, Canada, and everything like that.
man. Yes, that too. He was one of my favorites growing up.
There
For
you
sure.
go. There you go. Hey, Corey, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Definitely was great to be able to talk to you and catch up with you and get to know your story and everything. Honestly, it's been a pleasure, and we wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully soon we'll be able to see you back on the court, like you mentioned earlier today. And when that time comes, let us know your links. Let us know where you're going to be so we can make sure to be able to watch you play. We want to be able to see you killing it and hitting those threes on the court, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this. Good talks. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. And like I said, Talker Exposure, this is season 2, episode 10. We appreciate your time again, Corey.
Thank you.